Alright, talking international cinema today, and speaking of international, NordVPN. Guys, you're watching a web video in 2025. You know what a VPN does, and if you don't, you can learn more and try the NordVPN 2-year plan plus 4 months extra by going to nordvpn.com/moviebob or follow the link in the description, risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. VPNs help you, your PC, your workstation, your tablet, your whatever. I'm an old guy, we just called it the computer. Be in more than one place at one time, even if you're not. Are you trying to look up the classic or hard-to-find movies, TV series, or games I talk about on my channel, but find they're only available to view or stream in certain regions? It happens to me all the time, and NordVPN can help with that. In an age where more and more content is getting restricted, siloed, or censored, NordVPN is all about making the internet more free and letting you see and share more information. The way the web ought to be. Like I said, check it out for yourself and see what you might have been missing. Click the link in the description or go to nordvpn.com/moviebob to get the NordVPN 2-year plan plus 4 months extra risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. And now, on to the show. Yeah, so I didn't think this was very good. It's not, like, bad. If anything, it's sort of middlebrow, which in and of itself is a bigger statement of progress and forward thinking than anything that's actually in the movie, which even before I looked this up to know it, had the distinct sense over it of the kind of movie set in Mexico, but made by a filmmaking team and actors largely from outside of Mexico that tends to get praised by every other country but the place that it's made in, which is very much the case here. Though that's also generally the case for any international production about some place that it's not. Probably one of the most interesting things about the film is the uncanniness of it. There's a layer of unreal, almost deliberate feeling artifice to the whole production, which sometimes come when you have layers upon layers upon layers. This is a French-made, Spanish-language film set in Mexico with almost no Mexican actors. French, Belgian, Spanish language co-production, I should say. And despite the now recurring joke that I will not be like the 80th person to have made, that this feels in premise like something that Netflix would have had their AI software generate the premise of, out comes a musical crime drama produced in France in Spanish about a Mexican cartel kingpin's gender transition. And yet, incredibly, Netflix did not make this themselves. The director, Jacques Audiard, made it based on his own operetta. Netflix merely picked it up from Cannes, a near-perfect Netflix product that Netflix themselves was incapable of making. But in any case, a fascinating effort of a film that doesn't totally work. I actually think the fact that it doesn't totally work and is more of a middlebrow movie of subject matter that even 5 or 6 years ago would not have been considered middlebrow at all is kind of a testament to what's interesting about it. It would have been edgy subject matter not that long ago, and once, because it's now an award season thing, we're now unfortunately probably in a situation where we're probably going to have to hear like the fucking president say something about this movie, which is irritating. Whatever it sounds like on paper, once you get down to it, it basically feels like the Taylor Sheridan TV show CBS procedural version of itself, right down to taking place not in realistic Mexico, but the NCIS filter version of Mexico, is sort of what's interesting, annoying, but also almost in a way B-movie drama charming about it. And if it were almost a little bit more, for lack of a better word, soapy, I think I might have liked it more. So our premise, since true to form of this sort of movie, Emilia Perez, who is played by Karla Sofia Gascon, who's very good in this, by the way, is not the main character. She's the main subject, not the main character. Our audience POV character is Zoe Saldana, also very good in this. This is one of those acting decathlon sort of roles for her, where she has to be funny, she has to be serious, she has to deliver a lot of exposition, she has to sing, dance. I don't think most audiences have ever seen her do an entire role in Spanish before. There's been a lot of criticism, again, from Mexican audiences about some actors' delivery, speaking Spanish and Mexican cadence. Her performance here, just in terms of having to switch between singing, dancing, funny, serious, she's really good here, just in terms of how much she is demanded to do. Her character is a lawyer against cartel leaders, corrupt government officials in Mexico City. She is offered the chance to help a cartel leader who is going to turn against the rest of the cartels. Turns out This leader is transgender, has already begun hormone replacement, help them disappear, finish actual surgery, and get a new identity. This is too good of a deal to miss out on. Our sensible protagonist is going to help relocate the rest of their family. I think the scene that most people have seen of this movie, which is the English language song about getting the surgery, the quote-unquote cringe scene of the movie.
Very nice to meet you. I'd like to know about sex change operation.
I see. Men to woman, or woman to men.
Man to woman.
From penis to vagina.
I want to know it all. What is the protocol? The techniques and the risks. How many operations? How much time do you need?
Mammoplasty.
Yes.
Vaginoplasty.
Yes.
Rhinoplasty.
Yes.
Laryngoplasty.
Yes.
Mammoplasty.
Yes.
Vaginoplasty.
Yes.
Rhinoplasty.
Yes.
Laryngoplasty.
Yes.
Control laryngoplasty.
What is that?
Adam's apple reduction.
Yes.
Mom, make Dad tell the story right. That's what really happened.
That is a bad scene and a bad song. The rest of it, better than that. But I understand how a lot of people see that part of it and decide, no, I'm not going to watch the rest of this movie. Gives you a sense of tone. It doesn't give you a sense that most of this is basically a cartel narco thriller, but with gags and a lot of dramatics about, okay, once we get this identity switch movie out of the way at midpoint, now we are going to attempt to reunite this family, not all of whom are aware of what has actually happened and what goes on after this. What makes it not a good movie, but not necessarily a bad or disinteresting movie, is that EMILIA Perez herself, this the character that reemerges after transition, is not just a suddenly newly good, okay, because we're giving a positive role model and a positive spin on this character. She is complicated. As I said, Zoe Saldana has the showier role, and Selena Gomez obviously has the more, wow, haven't usually seen this actress in this kind of movie before. Certainly at least not since Spring Breakers in terms of tone, but you haven't seen her in this sort of role as a fully grown-up actress. Karla Sofia Gascon has, it would be very easy to turn this into a, here's a positive role model, here is the, she's the first transgender actress to be nominated for Best Actress, first to be nominated in many such categories that she's getting nominated for now, is commendable and really something. That Emilia as a character is not a negative character, but also not a wholly positive character. She does play the role both pre and post transition. This is someone who's a criminal and is attempting to become not just this full version of themselves, but also a better person post transition, and is not fully succeeding at it. Still wants to be able to use their connections, their power, their money and whatnot to do what they think is the right thing, but is also the right thing sometimes for them without to spoil too much storyline business. And to the degree that the movie is still a melodrama, and I'm not really sure that the story totally works all the way through, and I'm still not entirely sure that doing this as a musical and with these like dream sequence musical sequences is really adds anything, because it does the opposite of what that kind of storytelling which should do, which is take us out of reality at exactly the point where we should really be more invested in it. Like, we should not be saying shut up and stop singing as much as we are in this movie. The fact that the characters are so well rounded in a story where it would be very easy, and the way that most things would want to go, to make them more one-dimensional. This is the good person, this is the bad person, this is the person that you want to be supportive of, this is not, is a more interesting way to go with it. So even though I don't think that this really comes together at all, and a lot of it may have been, why did you do this? I think that they at least didn't take the easy way through it. Sometimes it is quite silly. I cannot speak to whether or not I would be offended on behalf of inaccuracies and portrayals if I was in Mexico. I'm sure that there's a valid argument for it. Storyline-wise, pacing-wise, it feels messy and doesn't really work all the way, but it is an effort, and I think that's appreciable. And I think effort matters. So I'm going to call this a 6 out of 10. I don't think it's good. I do think it's worth a watch. And if you've still got Netflix after the last price hike to God knows what, they're probably going to autoplay this after something that you actually wanted to watch. So, yeah, leave it on.